Hey, it's Dawn Chubai, and yes, I'm staying home. And thank you for staying home with us. A brand new weekly show where we're going to get, well, just a little bit of inspiration. Inspiration, some tips, and getting to know some of your favorite TSC guests and personalities, perhaps just a little bit more. We've got three great guests in this half hour. We've got Hillary MacMillan, who is a designer who is doing good, how she has transformed her fashion design into making of masks. And we're going to learn what that's all about. We've also got CEO and co-founder of Beauty Bioscience, Jamie O'Banion, who's going to be here. I know you know she's all about the glow, but she's also very, very inspirational. And you know what? I got to tell you what, you're going to feel empowered after hearing from her. And do yourself a favor, check out her Instagram feed as well. But I am super excited because we've also got fabulous TV personality, celebrity chef, author. We've got Curtis Stone, and we are going right into his home, his kitchen. Curtis Stone hanging out outside, looking cool. All you need is a little lemonade. How are you making out there? I know that life is different right now for everybody.
Look, it's crazy. We're right down here in California, and in some ways we feel like we're in the eye of the storm because we're also in the restaurant business, So we're still busy working. We're still delivering food to people's homes and trying to take care of our community as best we can. And that's my doggy walking in the background. So we're also having a great time, my wife and I, with the kids. They think it's the best thing ever because they get to spend so much time with their parents. And this is Sammy, by the way. Hi, Sammy.
Oh, Sammy's so cute. How old are your kids, Curtis?
8 and 5.
So are you
Yeah.
homeschooling them? What are you doing?
We are. My wife is my hero right now. She is working so hard and doing such an incredible job because I think when the kids are young like that, they really need your undivided attention. So we're literally bouncing from one room to the next, making sure they're keeping up with their classes and whatnot. And I mean, look, they're still young, so it's not like they're sitting their finals or anything. But it's still an important time, and it's important that they sort of still feel connected to their friends and classrooms. So she's doing an amazing job. And yeah, I think truly the kids are actually having the best time of their life because they're just home all the time. They're having a great time.
And imagine if they were teenagers, they'd be like, "Dad, leave us alone. Mom, leave us alone."
Right.
Listen, let's bounce to another room. Do you think you could take us on a little tour of your kitchen?
Of
Because
course.
I know a lot of people want
Yeah.
to know, like, are you actually using the DuraPan in your own kitchen as well?
So this is I'm walking through the living room. We've got like a big open plan. So my kids are always back there playing around. And then I am around this side, which is my kitchen. I've got a nice big island that we always are using. And like any chef, our kitchens are a bit of a mess, but we've got a ton of stuff. Now, of course, with all of this happening, we've been creating content from home. We even came live to TSC a week ago and are doing the same again in a couple of weeks' time. But have a look at this. This used to be a pool table, and now look at it. It's my prop room. So I've literally, even lights in the background. You asked about the pan. We've literally got them absolutely everywhere. And I got to say, having the right cookware at this time is a game changer, isn't it? Because when you don't, you're like, oh, it's so difficult. But when you have the right equipment, it makes life very, very easy.
Absolutely. I mean, right now I've got split pea soup on the stove with one of the DuraPans. I made eggs the other day, and it does make life easy. But let's face it, life can be hard, and I'm sure cooking for the kids can be a little bit of a challenge. So, what are you feeding the kids lately? Is it like you got a big Curtis Stone buffet 24 hours a day laying out there in California,
Well,
or what?
listen, we're literally serving our community as best we can. We're, at the restaurants, we're delivering chicken pot pies and bolognese and chili and, all of that sort of comfort food. And now, of course, as we're sort of moving into spring, we're trying to change that menu a little. But all of that testing happens right here. I'm at home cooking literally all of it first And then we sort of take it into the restaurant, and I'm like, right, this is the recipe. This is how we're going to do it. So my kids have been having a lot of fun. My wife's warning me. She's like, I'm not putting on weight over this. So stop cooking too many rich things. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of been comfort food, and now as we're sort of just transitioning, it's been pretty chilly actually in LA, which is unusual until this week, which has been in the 80s all week. So we've been grilling and having lots of salads and all of that sort of stuff as well.
Amazing. And what about the kids? Because I was obviously a parent to two young ones. I'm sure that there are moments where, as good of a cook you are, as good as a chef you are, Curtis, there must be times where the kids go, "Ooh, do I have to eat that?" Like, are they fussy eaters? Or are they pretty adventurous?
I've got one who will eat anything. His favorite thing in the world is sushi. Literally, he'll eat anything. And the other one's the opposite. He's my challenge. So I'm constantly trying to get him to try something different. So, they're all built differently, and that's just the truth. And, that's a parent's challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, certainly you've got all the great tools, and a lot of people I know love your
Right.
Curtis Stone cookware. I'm a huge fan of the thermometer. I got to say, great for checking the temperature of the chicken. But I think you've got some sweets going for us too in your house, don't you?
Well, I'm popping you down for just a moment. I've got my trivet here, which you've all seen before, right? So I'm going to drop that down onto my countertop. And then I wanted to show you this double burner grill pan because I'm out there. Well, I'm not going to be out there. I'll be doing it from here, but we'll be presenting it live. And I'll show you. You mentioned what am I cooking for my kids? I'll show you because I just threw in some cookies. So this is one of those grill pans that I'm using it all the time right now because it's just that all-rounder. You can bring all of that great flavored grilled food in. So whether it's steaks or chicken or salmon that you're cooking, but then because of the DuraPan, it also is this incredible non-stick. So see how I've just baked cookies on it? So I'm doing that 24/7, to be honest with you. And with this one pan, you can just do so much. So I really do love that. Anyway, sorry, I
Yum,
just
yum,
stuck you on
yum.
my little.
What's your favorite kind of cookie to eat? We know you like making them all, but what's are you a chocolate chip guy? Are you a oatmeal
Yeah, I
or
am.
what?
I love chocolate. I like chocolate, and I like them gooey and a little underbaked. Um, and I'm looking at these thinking maybe I left them in a minute too long because I got the chats with you. But my son always tells me it's better as dough anyway, Dad. So maybe I'll get these off the tray so when he comes down, he's not yelling at me.
How are you finding some balance at home? Because you're 24/7. Not only are you working, you're shooting from home, you're still doing work, you're still parenting, you're doing it all. How are you finding a little bit of time for yourself? What are you doing to find balance, Curtis?
Well, I'm not. There's no time for myself. There's there's no balance. It's
We
been
got to
one
get
of
a
those
face mask
crazy.
or something.
But I'm just being honest. But you know what? I actually have enjoyed not traveling and just being home and being here for my kids and really getting in touch with their schoolwork and learning more about what it is that they're up to in their classrooms and which mates they connect with better, even over a Zoom classroom. And, I think you've always got to look for the good in everything that happens. And this is one of those challenges that we're thrown in life. And to me, I'm like, well, I'm home. I'm with my family. I'm with my kids. I'm getting to know them even better than I ever have, and I'm just finding all the blessings in it.
When I think, Curtis, of what it takes to run a restaurant, a professional kitchen, it's a lot of timing and it's a lot of pacing. And that's why a lot of customers love to go because it all just comes out as it's supposed to. Now that everyone is cooking at home and having to really have a restaurant in their own living room or in front of the TV, what's your best tips on getting food to the table, not only interesting, but also time wise, pacing, prepping? Well, what's some of the biggest tips you have for everyone at home right now cooking?
Look, I think the best thing you can have is a plan. If you know what you're going to do, then it makes life a whole lot easier. And that can be a long plan, like on a Sunday, sitting down and thinking, what am I going to cook each night this week? Or what am I going to do for the kids' lunches? Or it can just be a bit of a daily thing. So you're not getting to dinner time and thinking, what am I going to do? And looking in the fridge and scrambling, because then it is genuinely hard and you probably don't have all the things that you're going to need. So I always sort of think that plan is super important, and don't overthink it. Don't try and do too much. You're probably better off to do a little bit less, but put a bit more detail into it. Like this morning we had breakfast and I cut up some tomatoes and I put it onto a plate, but I seasoned it really nicely. I chopped a little bit of fine onion. I put a little drizzle of vinaigrette on the tomatoes. And then I served it with some bread. And we all sat there and had tomatoes on toast. And it's the simplest thing in the world, but they were actually really delicious tomatoes and well seasoned. And there's a little bit of acidity and sweetness in there. So, you can achieve something wonderful with something very, very simple.
Well, and I think too, the idea of cooking once and eating several meals. I'm a huge fan of leftovers, making roast chicken, my Durapan roaster that I have of yours, and that's going to be three, maybe four meals. And it's so interesting to see everybody kind of step up to the challenge. I just really think that this is a time for us all to step up to the challenge, eat healthier or more decadent, it doesn't matter, but to spend time with the families and really consider if you're having tomatoes on toast or tomatoes on toast, as Curtis says, it's about the connection with our family. Don't you think, Curtis?
Are you so right? And that batch cooking that you're mentioning is genuinely the key. If you can be doing something, if you're going to make a bolognese sauce, for instance, you could make a triple batch, have it tonight, and then stick one in the fridge for in 4 or 5 days' time. Now you can repurpose it. Maybe tonight you eat it on spaghetti, and in 2 nights' time you turn it into a lasagna, or a week's time, and then put the rest in the freezer and pull that out in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time, and you can do the exact same thing, or you can do something different, and it really will make you a better cook. Whenever I make soups, for instance, I'm always making enough for 20 people, even though there's only four of us.
Amazing. Well, Curtis, I just want to thank you so much for joining us and helping our shoppers stay home with us. Please stay safe. Please hug the ones you
You too.
love in your vicinity, in your home. And I guess we're going to see you at TSC next month, whether it's virtually or in person, but we look forward to having you back at TSC.
I can't wait to be there. Thank you so much. And you guys look after yourselves. All the best. Lots of love.
Bye, Curtis. Thank you so much. Oh gosh, we're so happy that you are staying home with us. And right now we are in my dining room. We thought we'd check in with someone else who is staying at home. But in addition to staying at home, she's also working. She is a CEO, co founder, Beauty Bioscience. She is a mom. She is a wife. She is everywhere. I'm telling you right now. And I am loving that we've got Jamie O'Banion staying home with us as well. Hi, Jamie girl. How you doing?
Hi, Dawn. How are you, my sweet friend? It's so good to see your face. I miss you.
Oh, we miss you as well. But thank you for inviting us into your personal space. How has your life changed? Because obviously, as a business owner, an entrepreneur, your world, in addition to everyone else's world, has been flipped right over, hasn't it?
I've got to tell you, it's really interesting because as women in particular, I think this is a really unique time that has its own unique set of incredible, incredible blessings and some challenges that I think as women we can talk about. As a working mother, my challenge is I have all of my responsibilities and responsible for my team family to make sure that everyone is healthy and safe and managing Zoom calls from early in the morning until late at night. And then I have my three little nuggets that I'm taking care of. In fact, here is the cutest moment with my glam squad. We had a live broadcast from a sister network in the United States, and it was so fun having my girls come over with me. Here I am on, oh my God, this is real life, you guys,
I
on
love
this very intense Facebook Live. And here is Aubrey just hanging out in the background, just doing some handstands because IRL, why not?
Oh my gosh. And that's the reality of life, right? You're constantly working, but now you're working from home even more than ever. There must be some great moments though that you get to experience that you never, I mean, no one wishes this time on anyone, but since we're here, since we're staying home anyway, you're really making the most of it, aren't you?
Yep. So I'll tell you a couple of things that have been really helpful to me, Dawn. So, number one, I am so grateful with the growth we've had as a brand. And this is a thank you to all of my TSC babes and everyone that's out there. I am on a plane a lot, whether it's, Harrods in London and then to Toronto at TSC or something happening in the US. It's been a lot of travel, and that is a sacrifice as a mother to be away from your children. And I always try to be away as, take the last flight out or the first flight back in, and it gets a little crazy. So I will say it has been such a blessing to have a moment of calm and hold my babies and get to be there with them and do simple things like crafts. We were making a little aquarium out of pipe cleaners and some of these basic things that have been treasures, making our family mac and cheese recipe, which I will totally share. It's amazing. And then I think the flip side of it, and these are some tips that have been helpful to me, is number one, creating structure. I think, and I'd love your thoughts too, Don, but at a time like this, especially as a woman, we have so much to care for the house, the family, work, and so forth that having a really structured schedule. For example, I literally block out an hour and a half from 12 to 1:30 every day. I will not take any Zoom conference call meetings to have lunch with my kids. And that has been amazing. And then there's a clear time that I stop and then I put them to bed and then I get back on after they're asleep and having very solid we call it, time chunking throughout the day has been really, really helpful for me.
Well, you're being a great example to them as well. And as much as, everyone has their own pace that they can take on, and there's no need for anyone to try to compete with anybody else. I mean, I'll look at your Instagram, honestly, sometimes, Jamie, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot even believe it. But we all have a different capacity. We all have a different capacity for what we can handle, and there's no rule. There's no rule. Speaking of no rules, there are no rules, despite what everyone says about who can TikTok and who can't, because you are right there doing it with everyone
Oh
else. There's your hubby. Well,
my goodness.
what?
Yeah, there
I
in
don't even
the background.
don't even understand what happens.
What happens on TikTok stays on TikTok. You guys, this is quarantine life at its finest. How hilarious is my cute husband killing it? His moves, like, babe, I haven't seen those moves in 20 years, and here they are, all the
Oh my
renegades.
gosh!
Um,
Listen,
Look at
have you been searching?
Gracie.
Oh my gosh! Hey, Jamie, I finally started looking at TikTok, and I mean, I'm obsessed with Derek Huff's got a great one. Like, these are full time jobs. Putting these TikToks together is.
It is time. So here's what I've learned. Charlie D'Amelio is like the original TikToker. And every day the girls are showing me the new TikTok. And here's the deal. It's amazing exercise. I mean, I used to dance, classical ballet all growing up. I am sweating by the time I'm done. And that's the key. And I will say, like, that's probably my second biggest tip is while we're social distancing, that does not mean emotional distancing. So it is doing fun things with your own family unit that you're quarantining with, but then FaceTiming, having moments like this. Like, I want to squeeze your face, Dawn. I miss you. And it's so good to connect. And I'm sending hugs to all of my TSC girls. And to have that community during this time that even though we're apart, we're united is such an amazing gift to live in a day and age where we have technology like this that we can still stay strong and stay connected even when we're apart.
Yeah, we're really lucky. It's interesting because my in-laws live in Ottawa, and we at one point lived in the same city, but now we've gotten used to having nightly talks with them, happy hours. We've even had a Skype dinner, and I do agree with you, Jamie, that there are things that are allowing us to stay more connected. Do you think a lot of this will sort of stick around after the fact? I sort of think to myself, gosh, maybe these are our new normals. Some of it, not all of it, but some of it we might keep around, right, as far as routine?
I pray that we do. And here's why. The silver lining is this has been such an amazing time to be reminded of what was truly important. And at the end of the day, our relationships, our family, health is the greatest wealth. And to see strangers coming together, we just donated a massive number of moisturizers, our ultimate cream, to hospitals in New York because these nurses, were getting rashes on their nose and underneath their eyes. And it was one small thing that I could do to help in a time like this and getting pictures of people I've never met before and how much it's been helping them. Like that is what's amazing is getting to have these human moments connecting and supporting each other from afar. And I hope that persists and that remains and just the humanity as we see and love and appreciate each other is never goes away because that is that is the good that will come from all of this. I hope there's more family game nights after this. We did a church service with a Zoom with my family from California to the East Coast, and we've never done that before. And why not? Right? So I think moments like that, I hope, continue forward as we stay connected in a different and in a deeper way.
Yeah, I have to agree. And I know, looking at your Instagram, you are a family of immense faith, and you are a person and a woman of empowerment, and you are such a cheerleader for so many. And I'm really glad to hear what, Beauty Bioscience has been doing for some of our frontline workers. Just so great to get to know you a little bit better. I know our shoppers who are staying home with us love being in your home. And we hope you do well and are staying safe. And we just wish nothing but the best for your family. So thank you so much, Jamie.
Thank you. Sending hugs and happiness and prayers for good health for everyone. I love you. I miss you, Dawn. Again, virtual big hugs to everyone. And we're all going to make it through this. And I can't wait to be back in the flesh again together. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Amazing. Amazing. Jamie O'Banion, of course, Beauty Bio. You can check out her line at tsc.ca. It's all about self-care when it comes to Beauty Bio. But listen, let's go to another business, and actually closer here to home in Toronto, where we welcome fashion designer Hilary MacMillan, who is here with us. You've probably previously seen her on Style Matters, but we wanted to bring her as we are all staying home, and you are staying home with us. You are also staying home, Hilary MacMillan. How are you making out there?
Not bad. Just, a lot of Zoom parties, a lot of house parties, just staying in touch with my loved ones and friends and family. So, just trucking along.
I know we've never been more social, being socially distant. I don't know about you, but I've got 5 appointments a day between Zoom calls and FaceTimes and cocktails and coffee, right?
Yeah, it's wild. I feel like I'm connecting with old friends I haven't seen in forever. And I feel like I'm seeing them more now in quarantine than I ever did.
And yet you're still, you're still working. It's interesting because obviously as a fashion designer, fashion doesn't stop. You're still creating, but at the same time, you've seen a bit of a shift. And I think it's a really important time to let everybody know what you are doing that is really timely during this pandemic.
Yeah, so I'd say about 4 to 5 weeks ago, time gets a little bit funny in this period, but we were seeing a lot of people talking about potential for PPE to be, in dire need, and kind of our supply to get less and less. And we saw it happening a lot quicker in the United States than in Canada. And I was talking to my team, and we were just thinking, this could be a real issue that happens here as well. So the CDC actually released a pattern on their website for a mask. And I was like, let's, find out we can make one and get together and, get together virtually and kind of sort out how we're going to do this. And so we wanted to make sure our materials were intact. We had the design down and everything that we wanted to do. And we've been through several iterations of it. And we kind of settled on one that we thought was, quickest to sew and had the best impact. And we kind of put a call out there, and it was just kind of 100% donation based. We wanted to give them to frontline people and to anyone that needed them. So we've donated from all over this span. We've donated to a trucking company. We've donated to the Mackenzie Health Hospital for ICU nurses. We've donated to Community Living Toronto. We've donated to people in the community. So it's been, a desperate need for it right now. And so we're just kind of happy that we can fulfill that, and we're planning to keep going as long as people need it.
But the reality is this isn't your first foray into philanthropic work. I mean, it's really always been that way for you. You have a capsule collection whereby you do also have charitable aspects to it. You're also huge in empowering women. You actually have an entire company built around women.
I do. Yeah, my whole staff is women. The fashion industry is proportionately women in terms of workers, and people making the clothes generally are women. So I really wanted to kind of create something that could donate back to a women's charity of some sort. So we've made this varsity capsule. We've been doing it for about 2 or 3 years now, and we donate 50% of all the proceeds to a charity called Up With Women. It's a Canadian charity, and they help at-risk women and women and homeless women permanently exit poverty. So they give them the right tools to kind of make them have a fighting chance kind of, and a lot of these women have been affected by domestic violence, and a lot of them are single mothers. And so it's just such a great organization, and we're really proud to be able to support it. And we wanted to, fashion is such an expression of, people and expression of your style and who you are. And it's just, every time someone purchases something, it's like, you're also giving to this charity. And I love that about fashion. And it's just such an important part of my business.
And so is sustainability. I mean, you really are all about cruelty-free sustainability. When you decided you were going to launch your own collection as a designer, a proud Canadian and recognized designer, sustainability was something that was on the forefront for you.
Yes, we're always trying to find ways to be more and more sustainable. It's always kind of been a passion project of mine. And you see it's such a topical conversation in fashion. And, fast fashion is getting a little bit less insignificant kind of in our world. And people are kind of converting back to buying vintage and buying from local designers and smaller designers. So we really are proud to be part of that. So we make small batch runs. We keep a lot of our production in Canada because that's important to us. And then, we try to be as sustainable as we can in certain sections. So we've just released a blouse line that's sustainable, and it's made from cupro and then dyed with vegetable dye. And so we're always trying to find ways to be innovative and to create more sustainable products and offer that to people as an alternative to, a fast fashion item.
I love it. And I mean, many of our shoppers know too that they can pick up your clothing at TSC. Just on the topic of business and specifically small business, many of us watching the news and hearing how many small businesses are struggling. And I tell you what, we think of every single one of them. What's this? I know that obviously the masks have been of the forefront, but what has this pandemic been, how it's been affecting your small business? How is it affecting you and how are you coping?
So retail is in a kind of a tough spot just because we don't really know what's going to happen, right? So we're in the heat of spring right now, or in terms of our spring season, not the weather yet. But it's a tricky time because we don't really know what's going to happen for fall. So our business is 50% wholesale, 50% retail, and so currently we're essentially 100% e-commerce right now, so 100% retail. So we have to kind of shift our thinking and find really kind of creative ways to engage with our customer on an e-commerce stance and make it exciting, week over week and not just the same products out there all the time. So my team is amazing, and we're a small team, but we're tight and we're always in contact, and we're trying to be as creative as possible at this time. And and we're fortunate that a lot of people are really looking to support local businesses right now, and we've seen it. We recently did a digital sample sale, which was our first kind of sample sale that wasn't in person, and the support we got within the community and abroad. We discovered that 20% of our consumers for the sample sale were from the United States, which if we didn't do it digitally, we would have never found that out. So it's about engaging people and awareness, bringing awareness to local brands and letting them know that they're out there and there are options for items they can purchase in their wardrobe. Our biggest thing is we don't create any stay-at-home wear, I like to call it. So we don't do any activewear or sweatsuits. So a lot of people are buying it as the back to work outfit, planning that out, or when you're feeling you want to dress up for a day.
Yeah, it's, just looking at the way we're all dressing right now, but I know everyone is ready to start to go out when we're finally allowed to go out and get back to living their normal. But I always want to ask people what they think their new normal is going to be. And specifically you, do you see any sort of new behaviors that you've adopted during this time at home that you want to carry on? Like, have you learned some things about yourself? Just maybe final thoughts from you, Hillary.
Yeah, I've definitely learned that I love Survivor. I've been watching a ton of Survivor, so that's something that's definitely going to carry through into my life. But no, I think that I've been trying to do a lot more local stuff, and I hope that keeps going. So, buying from local small grocery stores and buying from local bakeries, and kind of sourcing from farm boxes and local breweries if you want beer or wine from Ontario. So I think that's a big shift we're going to see, and I hope that sticks after quarantine's over, that people still are supporting these small businesses and kind of shopping with their communities, because I think it's such a great way to support each other and support our our community.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Hillary, on behalf of everybody that's watching across the country, staying home with us. Thank you for doing what you're doing for the community. And of course, people can shop your line right at TSC.
They can, yeah. If you're bored at home, go on TSC and check it out.
Stay safe, girl. Very nice to meet you, even if it's virtually. Listen, what a great show that was. Thank you to Curtis Stone, of course, Hillary MacMillan and Jamie O'Banion. That was a jam-packed half hour. Next week, wow, we've got a powerhouse in Marla Wynn. She is going to be chatting with us from New York, one of the hardest hit, Maddox with 5-minute makeup, and Lisa Chang with great apps to keep you sane at home. Thank you guys. Stay safe.